Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom. So, Shleymut means wholeness, and it shares a Hebrew root with shalom, meaning peace. This means that wholeness and peace are connected. And while it's true that we are part of a whole, we as a society are not embodying peace yet. Rav Kook, the first Ashkenazi chief rabbi of Palestine before the state of Israel in 1921, he spoke of a fourfold song. He said that there are those who sing the song of the soul, of the self. This is sung by people who are passionate about their own journey, their inner and outer path. And then there are others who sing the song of our people, the nation. And here Rav Kook talks about the community of Israel, but this way of being can be extended to any other community, family, or tribe. Then, according to Rav Kook, there are those who sing the song of all of humanity. The song of all of humanity is the song for every person on earth. And in this song, we feel aligned with every culture, every race, religion, and way of life. And then there are those who sing the entirety of the world. This means they sing a song of every animal, every plant, microorganism, rock, atom, as well as the spiritual dimensions. Now, the truth is that we are more inclined to orient ourselves to one aspect of this fourfold song than another, maybe. But each of us is always, always in relationship to all four of these songs. The final part of Rav Kook's teaching is that there is that part of us that rises with all four of these songs in one ensemble. And this last part of the song includes all the other songs. And it is when all these songs can be sung simultaneously that we have wholeness. Shleymut. Being alive means by its very nature that each of us is indeed always in relationship to the song of ourselves and our communities, our nations, all of humanity, and of course, all of nature. And if we don't examine our songs in relation to all these aspects we are intrinsically in relationship to and with, then there is part of us that is unexamined because we are still singing something. And this is why people say silence is compliance or even violence, because we are all in alliances at all times, whether or not we're conscious of it, even when we're alone. So one level of Shleymut, wholeness, has already been achieved. With each one of us alive singing our fourfold song, it is happening right now in this room and outside these walls. It's just we're not aware of all of the parts most of the time. But on Rosh Hashanah, we have a chance to become aware of them. We sit and acknowledge that we are each singing Rav Kook's fourfold song, and it is in admitting to this that we can finally acknowledge and reflect and ask, but what does my song sound like? What is my connection to myself? What is my connection to my tribe? What am I feeling towards all of humanity? And what is my connection to our earth and all of existence? Have I been focusing mainly on one or two of these? Which ones are the loudest? Which are the quietest? Can I open my awareness? And what does it sound like when I sing all these songs as one? And then we can ask, does the song I am singing and have been singing this past year ring true? Is it in harmony? Where is it in dissonance? What is not working? What is my ideal vision for my relationship to this part of me or to the world? Does my song need to change? And if so, how do we change? How do we transform? And we all wonder, how do we truly build sustainable structures of equality in this world? And so, how do we come into alignment with our fourfold song so that our Shleymut, our wholeness, is also Shalom, peace? So there are many transformation rituals in our tradition that lead us to this place. The shofar, which is the blowing of the ram's horn. Tashlich, casting our sins into the water. The ashamnu, the confessional, and there are more. There's the tefillah, which means prayer. Tzedakah, acts of charity and justice. Teshuvah, the practice of returning to the source. The compass of our tradition. It moves us closer to Shleymut, the awareness of wholeness, and Shalom, the embodiment of peace. So let's begin with the shofar. Rosh Hashanah is designed to make a structural shift in the nature of existence with the sounding of the shofar. In so many of our texts, it is said that the shofar is sounded to wake us up, a call to action. Walls are known to crumble with the sound of the shofar. Made from the horns of wild animals, it is a cry from the depths of our world and our psyches. It announces transformation from the deepest place of the earth. And it is also sounded as a symbol of global transformation, announcing a time of world peace. Today, we are posed, though, with a very different scenario, because it is Shabbat this Rosh Hashanah, which makes some of the ways we enact Rosh Hashanah different. We don't sound the shofar on Shabbat Rosh Hashanah. So the reason given in our texts is because a prohibition of Shabbat is carrying something from the private to the public sphere. And the rabbis were concerned that if we blew the shofar on Shabbat, that we may carry the shofar outside the domain of the shul, or outside the domain of our homes to get the shofar to the shul. So it became a practice to not blow the shofar. Cantor George and I, we chose to honor this tradition because although we don't have the same concerns about carrying the shofar, it is an important enough custom amongst the Jewish people that it just wouldn't feel right. This may be part of what it means to sing the song of our tribe. But I want to think about this some more. Because how do we reach the heights of where Rosh Hashanah is supposed to take us when we don't hear the shofar? Even though we will be blowing it tomorrow on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, and again on Yom Kippur and all the days in between, we may feel today like something is missing. This might be one of the things we look forward to the most. But as a result of this stringency, we have a different and perhaps more lofty task. Shabbat is a time of celebrating the epitome of worldly perfection. It's not necessarily saying that our world is perfect. Perhaps quite the opposite. It's saying that because the world is not perfect, we need one day a week to pray for its perfection. So we dream of a perfect world by imagining that it's already here, and by fully embodying it, becoming it. And because of that, Shabbat is known as a taste of the world to come, which means it is a taste of an era of peace. We don't engage with the most powerful acts of creation and destruction, traditionally things like planting or harvesting on Shabbat. But Rosh Hashanah, on the other hand, is Yom Charat Olam, the day the world was conceived. A conception changes the world because it isn't life itself, it is the possibility of life. It is the birth of possibility. So on Rosh Hashanah, we are planting the seeds for the whole year. And it creates a huge foundational shift. Therefore, on this Shabbat Rosh Hashanah, we're doing a balancing act. We are living into imagining what a perfect world would be through the prayer of embodiment that is Shabbat. And while doing this, we're also holding the immense possibility for change, for transformation that is Rosh Hashanah. Another transformation ritual we enact on Rosh Hashanah is Tashlich. In a few hours, we will go to the pavilion at the Meadowwood Regional Park, and Cantor George will lead us in the ritual of casting our sins into the water. We acknowledge the ways we ourselves, we missed the mark this year, realigning our misalignments, not eradicating, not burning, not destroying, but transforming through the flow of time, through connecting to our personal songs and realigning them with the water, the earth, the source of life, the universal song. From the Buddhist tradition, there's a concept of the bodhisattva. A bodhisattva is said to be a soul who is enlightened but becomes reincarnated over and over again to help the world and others reach enlightenment. The bodhisattva refuses to let go until all the world is enlightened. It's not enough for the bodhisattva to be personally enlightened. The whole world must be. Because they know this truth, that we are whole, but not everyone is singing their fourfold song of peace. And our tradition knows this too, because a group of 10 or more, a minyan, is needed in order to pray certain prayers. The fact that we need at least 10 people to say these prayers shows how much we value community and the power we hold in being together. And on Yom Kippur, it's heightened in an important and sometimes puzzling part of our liturgy, that we confess a shamanu, we have sinned. We have trespassed, we have dealt treacherously, we have robbed, we have spoken slander, we have acted perversely, we have done wrong, we have acted presumptuously, we have done violence, we have practiced deceit, and so on. And many people ask, why is this said in the plural? It can feel strange to modern people. Rabbi Leila Galberner said Judaism, for all of its history, had a communal identity. But with Enlightenment thinking in the 18th century, many Jewish people were beginning to embrace individualism. For mid-19th century German Jews in the Emancipation period, there was a pull toward individual autonomy versus communal obligation. And then came the so-called rugged individualism of America, which clashed with the communal obligation Judaism had at its center. And many of us have lost the power of identifying with the universal song. And not only are we embodying the collective in the confession, perhaps one reason our prayers are communal is because we are asking for change on a systemic level. A level that is so much bigger than ourselves. So perhaps our practice of Judaism is in itself a bodhisattva. It won't rest until we reach peace. It is designed to encourage this healing, designed to help us identify with the whole and support each other in that. The fact that we are not singing a song of peace yet as a society is an identity issue. It's a values issue and a missing of the mark. As you may have noticed, we have security here today, and it is a representation of this idea because we need to be safe from the divided identities of this world. The concept of us and them is a big problem. Loneliness in the world is a big problem, and this is why Reconstructionist Judaism chose very clearly to examine the idea of chosenness and chose to let it go. We at Kol Halev have a community here, and we join together every Shabbat We have people to aid and uplift us. We share kiddush lunches to honor our loved ones who have passed. We present the community with topics we each care about. We talk. And there is no limit to what we at Kol Halev can do together. And it starts with this now. This Shabbat Rosh Hashanah. It starts with a shift in perspective, our self-definition. It is the day to recognize the songs we sing, acknowledge the songs we are really singing in relationship to all these aspects. It starts with the embodiment of our ideals as the truth of our songs. Consider who you are, because today is the day to let it transform in the waters of life and return to their source, like in Tashlich. And we can ask, am I singing the song of peace? Am I lifting up the whole? What we need in our world now is systemic change, a global enlightenment. And we need a structural alignment as a society. We need a deep Rosh Hashanah-sized shift into a world of peace, an era of Shabbat. We need a Shabbat Rosh Hashanah, the biggest change possible. And we need to fully embody it today, because we are one, not just you or your family, not even our community, not even just the Jewish people, but the world. And we are one with the whole earth. The shofar announces the era of peace. But once we are in it, do we sound the shofar? It's no longer being announced. Perhaps not. Perhaps, like today, we do not. Perhaps just like today, we are not planting the seeds of peace, not waking up to wholeness, but are stepping into it completely. May it begin today. Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova.